Hello, welcome back. In this tutorial, we'll learn about an two-dimensional array. In the last video, we learned about an one-dimensional array. In this video, we'll learn about an two-dimensional array. So, if we use an one-dimensional array, the variable stores a list of values only. But there could be a situations where a table of values have to be stored, which need an 2D array. For examples why to use this two-dimensional array. To have an periodic table and to store sales information of a company and to store data in the spreadsheets. So for this purpose an two-dimensional array is required, and now we'll learn how to use a two-dimensional array and everything. This two-dimensional array in C programming is also known as a matrix, which contains a table of rows and columns. This is the syntax of a two-dimensional array. Data type, array name followed by the row size and column size. This two dimension contains, first dimension contains the row size and second dimension contains the column size. So the size of a two-dimensional array can be known, which is a product of row size and column size. So in this example, we are having two rows and three columns. The first row is known as a row 0 and second 0 is known as a row 1. And the first column is known with an index value 0 and second column with 1 index position and the third column with the second index position. Now just we have stored, so now it is an example of an two-dimensional array whose size is 2 and the column size is 3. Row size is 2 and column size is 3. So 2 into 3 we can store maximum 6 elements, and also clearly shown the index positions of each and every element. For example, if you take this element, it is an element of first row. So that's what first row index position is 0 at row 0, and this is your third column. So third column index position will be 2. So at 0, 2 index position, the element 365 is present. So in this way the elements are stored in a matrix format in a two-dimensional array. So now how to initialize a two-dimensional array? So a two-dimensional array contains two dimensions as we have discussed. It contains, first dimension tells the row size and second dimension tells the column size. It is an example of a complete initialization. 2 into 3 total 6 elements. So 3, these are the elements of your first row and these are the elements of your second row. So it is a complete initialization and done at compile time. And the second example, we can also use the curly braces for each and every row. So this indicates the first row elements and this indicates separately the second row elements, which are surrounded with an separate brackets. Now we can also initialize a two-dimensional array in the form of matrix also. And in this example, the row size is not mentioned. So mentioning row size is also optional in case of two-dimensional array, and it is allowed only at compile time initialization but not at runtime initialization. So declaration in this two-dimensional declaration, row size is optional and it is permitted only in the compile time initialization but not in runtime initialization. And how the size of the array is decided, it is based on the number of elements. So as we are having 6 elements in this two-dimensional array, the compiler automatically recognizes it is a two-dimensional array and the size is 6. Yeah, so it is an partial initialization of a two-dimensional array. Few values are missing, like actually 2 into 3 we have to store 6 elements, but only 3 values we have stored. Then what about the rest of the 2 values? So in the first row we are having only 2 values, in the second row we are having only 1 value. So the missing values are automatically set as 0 by the compiler in this compile time initialization. One more example. Now automatically, suppose now we have declared an array whose name is M, 3 is the row size and 5 is the column size. So 3 into 5 total 15 elements. So now I want to initialize all the 15 elements as 0. So we are having a shortcut method. Just this first bracket indicates first row, second row elements and third row columns. So there is a shortcut method. Just by writing 0, the first row is automatically assigned with 0, and second row with 0, and third row also with zeros. So in this way we can automatically initialize all the rows to 0 just by giving a single 0 in this parenthesis. So now in the types of arrays we learn one-dimensional array, two-dimensional array, and the last one is an multi-dimensional array. So this multi-dimensional array means 3 or more dimensions comes under this multi-dimensional array. So the exact limit can be determined by the compiler, and the syntax is as follows. Type means data type, array name followed by the sizes. So we can have S1 is the first size, second size. So like this we can have m number of dimensions. Here example, int a of 3 by 3 by 3. So it is a 3-dimensional matrix. So we can store maximum 27 elements. So in this way we can extend up to 4 dimensions and many more dimensions too. So an example is given. An array is declared with 3 by 3 by 3. So total we can store 27 elements. So all those elements are assigned here. So it contains 3 like it is determined like having 3 pages, and in each page we are having 3 rows and 3 columns. So in this way, a 3-dimensional array is initialized. Now here we are going through a program to add 2 matrices. So using a 2-dimensional array we can implement matrix addition, matrix multiplication, and many more complex programs can be solved with this 2-dimensional array. So here I am going to have a demonstration of this 2-dimensional array. So to add 2 dimensions, we have to declare 3 2-dimensional arrays, A array, B array, C array, whose sizes are 5 by 5. So total we can store maximum 25 elements in each and every row. So now we have to store A matrix elements, B matrix element. That sum we have to store in C matrix elements. To read 2-dimensional array elements, 2 for loops are required. Now first, to have matrix sum, first of all we have to know what are the row size and column sizes of 2 matrices. So first we have to read R1 C1 row and column size of the first matrix, R2 C2 indicates row and column size of the second matrix. So now to have a matrix addition, we have a condition. We need to check a condition whether rows of 2 columns are equal or not by checking R1 is equal to R2 and also column 1 equal to column 2. So we have to check. If this condition is true, then only matrix addition is possible. Then we have to read A matrix elements, and this is logic to read B matrix elements, and we have to add A matrix element with B matrix element, and the result have to be stored in C matrix element. So in this way, this matrix addition is implemented. Now first we are reading here A matrix elements. So the first row indicates for reading the row values, and second row for column values. So when I is 0, 0 less than, for example, assume we are going to have an row size and column size of both the matrices are 2 by 2. So total we can store 4 elements in the first matrix and 4 elements in the second matrix. So now I is 0, 0 less than 2, the condition will be true. Next J is 0, J less than 2. Now we are storing first element at A of 0, 0. Next J plus plus. Next element will be stored at A of 0, 1. J plus plus, J value will be 2, 2 less than 2 condition fails. Then your outer for loop will be incremented. Okay, so in this way we are going to store elements in A matrix. The same logic is repeated for storing elements in B matrix. Then similarly we are adding A of 0, 0 element with B of 0, 0. Next A of 0, 1 element is added with B of 0, 1. Next A of 1, 0 element is added with B of 1, 0. Next A of 1, 1 element is added with B of 1, 1. And they are stored in C of 0, 0, C of 0, 1, C of 1, 0, C of 1, 1. Finally, we are going to display that sum. Okay. So here we are writing an else part. So this else part belongs to this if condition. Like suppose if this condition is true, we are entering into the if block and executing all the statements. If the condition fails, it comes to else part and simply it will display a message matrix this addition is not possible. So students, you are having a few programs to try it yourself. Just read them and write a C program to find the transpose of a matrix, and to read a matrix and print its diagonal elements, and to find sum of all the elements of each row of a matrix. I hope you understood this video. Thank you.